6 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The Prime Minister has vowed to work resolutely till the rehabilitation of every single person affected by the floods. The Planning Minister calls for adopting export-oriented policies in public and private sectors to accelerate the export-led growth. The Health Minister says the country is fully protected from the pandemic and prepared to meet any possible outbreak of any variant of COVID-19 virus. Pakistan expresses its firm resolve to continue to pursue a policy of peaceful neighbourhood based on mutual respect and sovereign equality. The All Parties Hurriyat Conference has strongly condemned the killing of 4 Kashmiri youths by the Indian troops in a fake encounter in the Jammu district of the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The United Nations Secretary General has underscored the need for resolving conflicts through dialogue. The G7 countries and the United Nations have urged the interim government in Afghanistan to reverse orders banning women from working in humanitarian sectors. And now the news in detail. The Prime Minister Mohammad Shahbaz Sharif has directed the officials concerned to finalise on priority basis the action plan for International Conference on Climate Resilient Pakistan to be held in Geneva next month. Chairing a meeting in Islamabad today to review the preparations for the conference, he said the sufferings of victims of the recent flash floods in Pakistan will be conveyed through this conference to the world. The Prime Minister said reconstruction and rehabilitation of the flood-affected areas is a major challenge for Pakistan as these floods inflicted a loss worth billions of dollars. He vowed to work resolutely till every single person affected by the floods is rehabilitated. The proposed plan of action for the conference was presented in the meeting. It was informed that participation of friendly countries as well as development partners and international financial institutions is also expected in the conference. The Minister for Climate Change, Shahri Rahman, has briefed the Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif on the preparations for International Conference on Climate Resilient Pakistan. During her meeting with the Prime Minister in Islamabad today, she also discussed matters related to the Ministry of Climate Change. The Minister for Planning and Development, Ahsan Iqbal, has called for adopting export-oriented policies in the public and private sectors to accelerate export-led growth. Addressing a ceremony in Islamabad today, he emphasized on increasing exports up to $100 billion. The minister said the government is steering the country in the right direction and the rumours of any default are baseless. He said to promote the private sector investment, we need to create an enabling and investor-friendly environment in the country. The Minister for National Health Services and Regulations, Abdul Qadir Patel, has said Pakistan is fully protected from pandemic and is fully prepared to meet any possible outbreak of any variant of COVID-19. Talking to media in Islamabad this afternoon, he said strict surveillance has been activated on the borders to check and prevent the entry of COVID-affected people in the country. He appealed to the people not to fall prey to the negative propaganda in this regard. The minister said Pakistan is one of the few countries of the world which have vaccinated around 95% of its population. He said around 8 million children have also been vaccinated in Pakistan. The Special Assistant to the Prime Minister on Poverty Alleviation and Social Protection, Faisal Karim Kundi, has said 98% flood-affected people have been provided the amount of 25,000 rupees per family under the Benazir Income Support Programme. Talking to newsmen in Lahore today, he said flood victims are still in dire need of relief. He further said the Benazir Income Support Programme aims to support the underprivileged segments of the society. Faisal Karim Kundi said flood-affected people are still looking for relief funds of 15 billion rupees promised by former Prime Minister Imran Khan. Pakistan continues to pursue a policy of peaceful neighbourhood based on mutual respect and sovereign equality with all the countries of South Asian region. This was stated by the Foreign Office spokesperson Mumtaz Zahra Baloch during her media briefing on the year-end review in Islamabad today. Talking about India, she said Pakistan consistently maintains bilateral relations that bilateral relations cannot fully normalize until the resolution of the outstanding dispute, especially the core issue of Jammu and Kashmir. She said Pakistan will continue to make all possible efforts for the settlement of the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir dispute in accordance with the relevant United Nations Security Council resolutions. Replying to a question, Mumtaz Zahra Baloch said Islamabad wants India to desist from supporting terrorist activities inside Pakistan and end its suppression in the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. This is Radio Pakistan. The annual Fleet Efficiency Parade of the Pakistan Navy 2022 was held in Karachi today. The Naval Chief, Admiral Amjad Khan Niazi, addressing on the occasion, expressed satisfaction over the operational preparedness of the Pakistan Navy fleet. He said the Pakistan Navy is playing an important role for the maritime security in the region and is fully capable of giving a befitting response to any eventuality by the enemy. The chief guest also awarded honorary shields to the best performing units. In the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the All Parties Hurriyat Conference strongly condemning the killing of 4 Kashmiri youths by the Indian troops in a fake encounter in Jammu district has urged the world community to hold India accountable for its brutalities in the occupied territory. In a statement, the incarcerated APHC leader Shabbir Ahmad Shah said the troops dislodged the youth from a vehicle and killed them in cold blood in Sidra area of the district. He said the incident was yet another addition to the unending chronicles of staged encounters that have become a new normal in the territory. He said Narendra Modi-led racist Indian regime has intensified its state terrorism in the occupied territory to suppress the Kashmiris' ongoing freedom movement. Meanwhile, the occupation authorities, in a major crackdown on the assets of Jamaat-e-Islami and other pro-freedom people, have intensified the drive to seize their properties in the territory. On the other hand, the People's Democratic Party Chief Mahbooba Mufti, talking to media men in Srinagar, said democracy has been suspended in the occupied territory. The United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has underscored the need for conflicts to be resolved through dialogue. In his New Year video message, he called for world peace in the upcoming year, saying every new year is a moment of rebirth and we need peace now more than ever. Antonio Guterres said there is also need for peace online, so instead of disinformation, all societies can enjoy the internet free from hate speech and abuse. He said, let us make 2023 a year when peace is restored to our lives, our homes, and our world. The United Nations has announced that some time-critical programs in Afghanistan have temporarily stopped and warned that many other activities will also likely be paused following the ban on female aid workers. In a joint statement, the United Nations Emergency Relief Coordinator Martin Griffiths, as well as the heads of the key United Nations agencies and international aid groups, called on the interim Afghan government to reverse the ban on women working in the humanitarian sector and overturn all directives banning women from schools, universities and public life. Meanwhile, the G7 foreign ministers today called on the Taliban to urgently reverse a ban on women working in Afghanistan's aid sector. In a joint statement, the G7 ministers, along with those of Australia, Denmark, Norway, Switzerland and the Netherlands, said they are gravely concerned that the Taliban's reckless and dangerous orders put at risk millions of Afghans who depend on humanitarian assistance for their survival. And now cricket. On the 4th day of the first cricket test match against New Zealand at Karachi, Pakistan in the second innings was 77 runs for the loss of 2 wickets at stumps today. Earlier, Pakistan were all out for 438 runs in their first innings. New Zealand declared the first innings at 612 runs for the loss of 9 wickets. And finally, the weather report. Cold and dry weather is expected in most parts of the country, while partly cloudy weather is likely to prevail in upper parts during the next 12 hours. However, more rain with snow over the hills is expected in Gilgit-Baltistan, Kashmir and adjoining areas. Dense foggy conditions are likely to prevail over the plain areas of the Punjab, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Upper Sindh during the next 12 hours. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.